very quiet in here. It's very quiet in here, I've noticed, because there's no hospital machines. Hospitals make lots of noise. You are there. Where do I? If I'm looking at myself, I'm looking right here. But on the screen, it doesn't look like I'm looking at myself. Hello. I have my phone pointed the way so that, okay, I'll put it the other way so that you don't see my huge hand. I just have to be very careful. Oh, see, I turned it around and now it's not charging. Okay. I have to buy a new charger. Yes, I have a phone. This is my new wig. It's so hot. I had to put a scarf in it to hold it back because it goes whoosh. Look at this. See the back? Short in the back. What is that called? What's that called? When it's short in the back and then goes like that. Who knows what's that called? Who knows what is that called? It's very hot. Why am I wearing pants? I bet it's cooler outside than it is in here. I haven't gone for a walk yet. But I recorded a whole chapter. Okay, the chapter of the Hidden Staircase that I recorded last night was over 17 minutes long. That is a long one. Today's, the one that I uploaded this morning is not as long. And I've already started recording chapter 24. How exciting is this book? Oh, I almost gave a spoiler. Sorry, I won't do that again. I have this book. Hey. Well, no, it's not really matching with the green. This is more of a neon. Is this chartreuse? Is this color chartreuse? So I was going to go out because I think my wig looks really cute, even though the reason, okay, it's really cute, except the wig cap shows horribly. I have it hidden as much as I can for now. So yeah, like the holes in the wig cap, it's good that it has holes in it so I can scratch my head, but, and also this is fake hair, but it's the slipperiest, shiniest of the three that I have, four that I have. I tried to pin it back with bobby pins. They wouldn't stay in. I tried to pin it back with actual claw clips that like grab. They just fell out. It's crazy, but it's cute. And I'm knitting a hat for winter. So I've decided that this, have you ever read Trixie Belden? I haven't, I know of her. But I haven't read her. This is going to be a winter wig because I can't pull it back without the wig cap showing hideously. So it's going to be for winter, even though I'm also hot in winter. I don't know. It might just be my Nancy Drew wig that I use for pictures or something. I really like it, but I can't deal with the exposed wig cap. It's really icky. Hey. What was the, oh, right. I think it's been a while. It's been maybe a week since we read the last chapter, which was chapter 5. The second Nancy. Right, remember this is Mystery at the Ski Jump. I'm reminding myself more than you because, you know, I'm reading a few books at the same time. well, just 2 Nancy Drew books. Actually, that's not true. I took one to the hospital with me and started to read that. So I kind of have 3 Nancy Drew stories in my head at the same time, and I'm trying not to mix them up. I brought the witch tree symbol to the hospital, and I've read 5 chapters of it, I think, and I love it. I can't wait to record it as a real audiobook. I mean, like this. I'm just reading it on the live. So, I mean, you know, actually record the chapters properly. Okay, so at the end of chapter 5, Nancy got locked in a closet in an antique store because they thought she was the fake Nancy Drew. So they locked her up. Nancy heard the click of a door latch. Right as I was reading that sentence, I was thinking about ice cream and slushies, slush puppies. Please try to keep me on track here. Nancy heard the click of a door latch. She was shoved among some fur coats. The door slammed shut and a key turned in the lock. You'll never try to rob this store again, the proprietor cried mockingly. End of chapter 5. Ah! I'm charging, but my battery is going down as per usual. And this is well, can you see how thick that is? Not really. But it's a longish chapter. Why don't I just go and buy a new phone charger and an ice cream at the same time? Maybe it's not my phone charger because it says it's charging. I mean, if it's in the right place and it's not being joggled about and it says charging. I am very repetitive because I'm about to ask the same question. Okay, I have my phone plugged into my old laptop. It's chugging along. It's trying as hard as it can, but it really can't handle very much. So could that be why the battery is decreasing even though it says it's charging? If anyone knows that kind of stuff, please answer. So why don't we try to read a few pages? And I can't guarantee I'll be able to read the whole thing without losing all my battery or dying of heat stroke. But we'll start, okay? 8 minutes and 29 seconds. Chapter 6, Curious Dealings. I skipped a whole paragraph. Okay. Chapter 6, Curious Dealings. The closet in which Nancy was a prisoner was dark and stuffy. Fur garments crowded against her, nearly suffocating her. She pressed an ear to a crack in the door and listened to the murmur of excited voices in the shop. I say we call the police, the woman shrilled. Tell them we captured this thief ourselves, and no thanks to their protection. But Mama, wait a minute. I just assumed they're a husband and wife, right? It's a husband that calls his wife Mama. Oh, yay. I don't remember if they're husband and wife. Anyway, let's go on. But Mama, suppose the lady in the fur coat was mistaken, persisted the proprietor. All we know is that she said a thief named Nancy Drew was coming to steal furs. And didn't Nancy Drew come in here? Insisted his wife. That's good enough for me. Maybe they're a cute old Italian couple. I don't know why I chose Italian. Okay. I don't know why I just did. Well, they say Mama. Mama Leone left a note on the door. You know when you're hot and you like scratch yourself and you get eraser dust, but it's dead skin? That's disgusting. Do you want me to start the whole chapter over again? I can't. And didn't Nancy Drew come in here? Insisted his wife. That's good enough for me. Nancy heard the door of the shop open. Pardon me, said a familiar voice. Did a Titian-haired girl come in here? George, thought Nancy. I can't read all that right now, but I will in a minute, okay? Why do you ask? The proprietor demanded. Because she's a friend of ours, Bess answered. We saw her come into the shop. After a moment of silence, the woman asked, What's your friend's name? Nancy Drew, George declared. You've come to help her rob us, the woman shrieked. Papa, lock them up too. Mama and Papa. Nancy doubled her fists and banged on the closed door with all her might. Bess, George, she shouted. I'm locked in this closet. She heard a startled exclamation and a sound of running feet. In a moment, the door swung open. Nancy, Bess gasped. What happened? Mrs. Channing told these people I'm a thief. The proprietor frowned. Mrs. Channing? The woman in the fur coat, Nancy told him. She stole 2 mink pieces in Masonville yesterday. I believe she planned to rob you, but saw me coming and used this as a means to get rid of me. Nancy's a detective, Bess spoke up. The mouths of the shop owners dropped open. I meant no harm, miss, the man said quickly. Where did Mrs. Channing go? Nancy asked. Out the back door, the proprietor pointed. I'm so very, very sorry, he began. It's all right, Nancy said. Come on, girls. Maybe we can pick up that woman's trail. But Mrs. Channing was not hiding in any of the alleys in the vicinity. The 3 friends cruised up and down the streets of Winchester and inquired at 2 other hotels and all the fur shops. No one had seen the woman. Finally, the girls decided to return home. When they stopped for gasoline on the way back to River Heights, Nancy picked up a clue. She questioned the service station attendant, who informed her that a long black car with a crooked bumper and dented fenders had stopped there for gas a short time before. The driver was a dark-haired woman in a fur coat, the employee said. I remember her because she seemed so nervous, kept looking back over her shoulder all the time. Did she mention where she was going? Nancy asked. No, but she said to fill her gas tank, said she was starting on a trip. Maybe to Vermont, I thought. The car had a Vermont license. Did you happen to notice anything she had in the car with her? Luggage or packages or anything? George asked. Now, why are you girls so curious? The man countered. I'm pretty busy here. Before Nancy could stop Bess, she revealed their suspicions of Mrs. Channing. The attendant became cordial once more. You know, that woman did have 2 extra fur coats on the back seat, he said. Nancy thanked the man for the information. While paying for the gasoline, she asked, Have you a telephone? Yes, inside. Use it if you like. Nancy phoned the local police, told what she had learned, and asked them to alert the Vermont authorities. And now I'm stopping for water. Turn my brightness up a little. Check the chatty. Come on. if you're charging your phone via your laptop, wait a minute, I have to hold this or it'll go away. Your phone might be using more battery than it's getting since a laptop doesn't provide that much power. Oh, my battery health is very bad. It fell in water once, and since then it takes forever to recharge. I don't know about holding its charge. Thank you very much, Purple Sparrow. I appreciate that. Oh, well, she got out of the closet pretty quickly. Audrey, hello. Is little Samuel W. I forgot how to talk. I was going to say I forgot how to talk while I was in the hospital, but I had to talk to so many people. People kept coming in. And, you know, they don't knock. They just come in. Anyway, I digress. SW is with his grandma. I am at work taking a little break. Okay, I just wanted to make sure since there's a cute, if there was a cute little Samuel Wade watching, I would have to watch my tongue. I mean, I always try to watch my tongue, but if I especially knew there was a handsome little almost 1-year-old boy in here. Thank you. This actually is like my windscreen for my microphone. I don't have a proper one, like one of those spongy foam things to put over it. So I just put a scarf over it. But I needed something to hold it back because, oh yeah, okay. I was saying how bobby pins and clips, they just fall right out because it's so slippery. But this is staying in. I need to start watching my language around him. I've been calling him you little fart. I think I need to. Unless you want him to start calling you you big fart or something, right? Once he starts the talking. Oh my goodness. For those of you who don't know, I'm sorry. I'm like having it's not really a private conversation. I'm just talking, but to somebody I kind of know. I mean, I know her through all of this, but we talk other places and stuff. She is a cute little child. Oh, that reminds me. This little man went to the hospital with me. Everybody loved him. He was sitting on top of my perfume bottle during the day. And when it became night, he would go in my purse, but with his little head sticking out. So, and right now he has a huge piece of jade or something in him. So he can sit up with the chicken. Yes, 2 doctors took a selfie with me when they were on rounds. I was very upset that I didn't get to approve it, you know, because I didn't get to see what I looked like. Why am I not talking like I normally do? I'm not talking like a little mouse. Hi, everybody. Should we try to get back to the book now? Okay. We're going to get back to the book now. You'll be good. He's always good. He's real nice and he won't make you any trouble. All right, where were we? Oh, yeah. She used the gas station phone to alert the Vermont authorities. When Nancy finally reached home, Hannah greeted her with a broad smile and said, "I'm sorry you had such a long, tedious trip." "Well, I picked up some good clues." What were you doing anyway? Trailing that nice Mrs. Channing?" Hannah asked. "I wouldn't call her nice," Nancy declared. "Well, now, I think you're prejudiced," Hannah said. "That's fine stock she sold me." What is with Hannah in this book? She's usually like really smart and wise and telling Nancy to be careful and all this stuff. And she can kind of tell when people are shady. But right now she's been completely hoodwinked by this lady in the long black car. Why? I don't know. What's wrong with Hannah? That's fine stock she sold me. What makes you think so? Nancy asked. In the afternoon mail, I received some money from the Forest Fur Company. A nice fat dividend, Hannah stated triumphantly. Nancy stared at her in amazement. That fake fur company actually paid you? She asked. Yes, indeed, said Hannah. And Mrs. Martin phoned me that she received her payment too. Why, it simply doesn't make sense, Nancy said, walking to the telephone. I'm going to call Mrs. Clifton Packer. The lady who lost her earrings, I love her. I really hope we go back to her house. The wealthy widow greeted Nancy cordially and admitted she had been mailed a sizable dividend, but Mrs. Packer did not sound pleased. I suppose the payment was not very large. Oops. I thought that was going to be Mrs. Packer. I suppose the payment was not very large, Nancy remarked, thinking that the woman was no doubt accustomed to receiving sizable dividends. It's not that, Mrs. Parker replied. Nancy, there's something queer about the way the money was sent. And one doesn't get a dividend so soon after buying stock. I wish you'd investigate. Nancy's fingers tightened on the telephone receiver. Something odd about the payment? Yes, Mrs. Packer went on. As you might guess, I have stock in various companies. They all send their dividends by check. The checks are signed by the treasurer of the company. And this payment was different? It certainly was, said the widow. It was a money order mailed from New York. No legitimate business would work that way. Nancy thanked Mrs. Packer for the information and hung up. Well, asked Hannah Gruen. Mrs. Packer agrees that something is wrong, said Nancy. Do you still have the letter that came with your dividend? There wasn't any letter, the housekeeper frowned. Just the money in an envelope. Hannah said that she had cashed the money order and thrown the envelope away. This is so unlike Hannah. Having a detective in the family since she was 7 or 3? How old was Nancy when her mom died? 3? I'm not saying that's when she became a detective, but Hannah is just not acting like herself. Oh, I was just looking at the amount of people in here. Wow, a whole handful. It's quite a long chapter. After a frantic search, Nancy located it in a wastebasket. She smoothed out the crumpled bit of paper to study the sender's name and address. There was no name, and the street number was blurred. Who sent the money orders? She asked herself. Not Mrs. Channing. She was in River Heights at the time this was mailed. Nancy concluded that the woman must have a confederate in New York, someone to whom she sent lists of her victims and who then mailed the dividends. Could the person be Mrs. Channing's husband? She wondered. Nancy was eager to follow up the clue. If Dad doesn't need me yet, I'll take the early plane for New York tomorrow, she decided. Nancy's going on a trip. Is she going to bring the girls with her? I need to start watching. Oh, I already read that. Okay. Yes, hospitals are awful. I love my hospital, but like sometimes it's like, first, like, thank you for the like. Bye, Audrey. See you later. Thanks for the like. I mean, from the person before you. Thank you to anyone who gives a like. Please give a like. Please comment. Please like, comment, and subscribe. I know that's the thing you're supposed to say, but I don't like doing that. I just assume you will. All right, 79%. I'm not sure I can finish this chapter just because I'm feeling very hot and I want to go outside and go for a walk because I haven't gone out yet. Don't worry, we will finish it eventually. Oh yeah. I'll take the early plane for New York tomorrow, she decided. After supper, she telephoned her father and told him the news. May I make a quick trip to New York before I join you? She asked. If you think it's worthwhile, go ahead, the lawyer replied. I found some extra work up here that'll keep me busy a few days. The next morning, Nancy was optimistic as she boarded the jetliner. She always enjoyed trips to New York, which invariably meant a visit with Mr. Drew's younger sister, a school teacher. The slim, Titian-haired woman resembled Nancy in more than looks. Eloise Drew had assisted her niece in solving several mysteries. Nancy took a taxi from the airport to Miss Drew's apartment. Her aunt greeted Nancy with a warm smile. I was just hoping I could see you during my vacation next week, she declared. And here you are, and with that old twinkle in your eyes. You're involved in another mystery, right? Nancy laughed. Right. Will you help me? While she and her aunt prepared lunch, Nancy told of the case and the envelope clue. What do you plan to do next? Aunt Eloise asked. Aunt Eloise asked. Hey. Well, I mean, I know a lot of New York accents say axed. It came out axed, so it must have been meant to be axed. Don't ask me why. You know the song by Billy Joel? Don't ask me why. At one point he says, don't ask me why. I wonder if he does it on purpose, because he says it many times. He says the name of the song is Don't Ask Me Why, and he says it many times throughout the song. But one time he says, don't ask me why, and it's very clear. I wonder if he did it on purpose. I'll put it on my Google list. My Google list is something that doesn't actually exist. I just forget what I was wondering. Maybe when I hear it next time, I'll think of it. What do you plan to do next? Aunt Eloise asked. Go to the address on the envelope. I think Mrs. Channing's husband may be there. If he sent the money orders, I'll call the police. I'll go with you, Aunt Eloise announced. After the two finished lunch, they started out. The address on the envelope proved to be that of a hotel in a rundown district. At the desk in the lobby, a clerk glanced up as Nancy approached him. Is a Mrs. R.I. Channing registered here? She asked. Now I can't say that word at all. The clerk shook his head. Perhaps I was mistaken in the name, Nancy said quickly. Have you a guest who works for the Forest Fur Company? The clerk grew impatient. No, young lady, this is a residential hotel and we don't handle business, so... Did you mention the Forest Fur Company? Interrupted a voice behind Nancy. The speaker was a red-haired woman in her early 40s. Wait a minute. No, I'm in my mid-40s now. Damn it. I say 40 to 43 is mid-40s. 44 to 46. Wait, sorry. Did I mess that up? 40 to 43 is early 40s. 44 to 46 is mid-40s. 47 to 49 is late 40s. That's what I say. The speaker was a red-haired woman in her early 40s. She was wearing a tight dress and too much makeup and jewelry. Nancy turned to her. "I'm Miss Reynolds," the woman said. "I live here and I couldn't help overhearing your question. I know the person you're looking for. I'm a stockholder in his company." Nancy's heart leaped. She introduced herself and her aunt and said, "Can you tell me where I can find the man you mentioned?" "Why, he's Mr. Sidney Boyd, and he lives in the suite next to mine." The woman said loftily. Okay, I have to go back and change this lady's voice, because I made her sound sweet, but apparently she's like, That's what loftily tells me. She's putting on airs. She's like Mrs. Bucket. "Why, he's Mr. Sidney Boyd, and he lives in the suite next to mine," the woman said loftily. "He is a true student of the theater, Miss Drew. He said that my performance in Wild Lilacs—" "I'm sure he was very complimentary, Miss Reynolds," Nancy interrupted. "But do you mind telling me how you happened to purchase stock in the Forest Fur Company?" "Well, I had to coax Mr. Boyd to sell it to me," the woman said coyly. I'm having trouble with this woman's attitude and personality. Loftily, coyly. It's hard. It's hard to do. I know I could just read it, but I want to try to do the voices. The clerk had listened to the conversation. After Miss Reynolds nodded goodbye to the Drews and sauntered to the elevator, the man came over. He snorted. "Bunny Reynolds hasn't had a theater engagement in years." So maybe she's like a washed up, Betty Davis in Whatever Happened to Baby Jane? She's like a washed, what's their last name? It doesn't matter. But she's making me think of her somehow. Except she's younger. Just read the book. He snorted. "Bunny Reynolds hasn't had a theater engagement in years." "What about this Sidney Boyd?" Nancy prompted. "Yes, tell us about him," Aunt Eloise put in. "Ladies, I'm manager as well as clerk here. We don't want trouble on the premises." "Then I imagine you want to avoid trouble with the law, too," Eloise Drew said. "Suppose this Mr. Boyd is involved in a stock swindle." "A swindle?" The manager gasped. "Well, I did suspect there was something phony about that glib talker," he added defensively. "What does he look like?" Nancy asked. The clerk shrugged. "The usual ladies' man. Slender, dark eyes, kind of long, uncombed hair." When was this written? Sorry. I'm like stuck in the 70s right now. So I'm thinking of a 70s lady man. And he's like, girl, like, 1968. Okay. Let's getting right into like, that's when the 60s started to go. Well, everything started to go. But I mean, we're not going to get political here. Hippies. He can't be Mr. Channing, Nancy thought, because he's a big, broad-shouldered man. Aloud, she said, "May I question some of your staff about Mr. Boyd? It won't take long." The man hesitated, then nodded. "Step into my office, ladies. I'll send the porters in first." Okay, we're going to finish it. We're here. And then we just have this. I said it. I said we're going to finish it. I'm ready to finish it. I'll send the porters in first. The men could tell nothing about Sidney Boyd, except that he tipped generously. All the maids but one were unable to add anything. Katie, the fourth floor maid, had such an uneasy manner of speaking that Nancy felt she might know something important about the suspect. She questioned the woman further. Mr. Boyd gets up late, Katie said, growing more talkative. Sometimes, while I'm waiting to clean up, he chats with me. What does he talk about? Nancy asked. Oh, once he told me about when he was a little boy in Canada, said Katie. He said his mother was French and his pa was a fur trapper, and he learned up there about furs. That's how I came to buy some of his fur stock. Forest Fur Company stock? Nancy asked. Yes, I have a little money saved up, said Katie. Maybe I shouldn't have spent it, but Mr. Boyd wants to help me make more money. He says I'll get big dividends. Have you had any yet? Nancy asked. No, but Mr. Boyd promised some soon. The man's completely unscrupulous, Eloise Drew cried out. He swindles hard-working people like you. Swindles? Katie said. Tears began to stream down her face. I've been robbed? I think you'll get your money back, Nancy said soothingly. Just try to tell me. Katie had already leaped to her feet. Sobbing, she flung open the door and rushed from the office. Eloise Drew shook her head. This is terrible. What do you propose to do next, Nancy? Didn't she just fly off the handle? Eloise Drew could have handled that a little more tactfully. She didn't have to cry out like that. I always complain about people who gesticulate a lot. And I'm doing it. Mm-hmm. What's going on down there? Out there and down there. What do you propose to do next, Nancy? See Sidney Boyd, she said grimly. Turn him over to the police. As she and her aunt returned to the lobby, they heard the clang of the elevator door and the click of high heels. Wait! Please wait! Bunny Reynolds called as she ran across the lobby toward the two. The woman's eyes were full of alarm. Katie told me everything, she wailed. It's dreadful. I'll try to help you, Nancy began. About the earrings, the actress interrupted. What about the diamond earrings I bought from Sidney Boyd? I suppose they're worthless too. End of chapter. 6. End of chapter 6. I was looking at the Roman numeral. I thought we had just read chapter 5. Excuse me. End of chapter 6. Diamond earrings. Oh, who's missing diamond earrings, though? The widow, Mrs. Packer. Very exciting. I'm going to put it back now. So I'm not even tempted to read some more. Well, wasn't that exciting? That was really fun. And I'm just going to check the chat. I don't think anyone said anything else. Nope. Whoops, I almost pressed the wrong button. Whoops, I pressed the wrong button. Well, I hope everyone enjoyed that. It has been a while and I forgot. Well, I mean, right when I read the end of chapter 5, whatever, the one from before. Yeah, problem with Aunt Eloise. I just think it was like, she was like, he's unscrupulous. Yeah. I don't know. It seemed a bit weird. All right, I'm losing my train. So I'm going to go now, and I'll be back sometime with chapter 7 of The Mystery at the Ski Jump. Bye, everyone. Thanks for listening.